Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Dai, and today I'm going to talk about more of the manga I've read recently. I have been in quite the reading slump lately, but that has not deterred my manga reading. So let's get into some of the series that I've been continuing to read, as well as some new series that I've started. First off, there is Noragami. I read volumes 1 through 5, and this is by Adachi Toka. This one follows Yato, who is a stray god. Basically, he has no people who worship him anymore. He can't build a shrine for himself. He doesn't have enough money for a shrine. And with no followers, that gets very difficult. So, in order to raise money for his shrine, he does little jobs here and there. So he'll go and find somebody's cat, or he'll help somebody clean their bathroom. Little odd jobs, anything he can find to basically make some money. During one of these jobs, he gets mixed up with a girl named Hyori. Hyori is one of those people who can see things from what is called the far shore in this series, which basically means she can see things that are not from this world. So she can see Yato, and on one of his jobs, Yato is in the middle of the street and Hyori sees a car coming and she tries to save him, but her soul slips out of her body, and so now she has a problem. Hyori finds that she is able to get back into her body, but since the day that she tried to save Yato, her soul is constantly slipping out of her body and she has no control over it. So she makes a deal with Yato to help her fix her little problem, and the story kind of follows their adventures and they meet some other gods. So I'm really finding this interesting. I do like the art style. I think I just went through one of the arcs in the storyline, so I'm curious to see how it continues. I have started watching the anime, and I've only watched up until where I've read, and I'm really enjoying doing that because then I don't know what to expect from the story. Whereas I found in the past that I've had a problem if I've watched an anime and then I kind of skim through the manga, because I already know what's going to happen, and I tend to miss little things that are in the manga that aren't in the anime. So I'm really liking watching the anime and reading the manga in tandem. In looking back at my Goodreads, it seems that I've read volume 6 as well. I've rated all of these 4 stars so far. This is an ongoing series, so I'm really looking forward to continuing it. Then I read the first volume of Kill Me Kiss Me by Lee Young-yu. This one follows a girl named Taeyeon, and she's kind of tomboyish, and she has this really bad celebrity crush on this pop star or an idol, and she finds out that this pop star goes to her cousin's all-boys school. She goes to an all-girls school, and her cousin actually looks almost identical to her, and so she makes a deal with her cousin to switch places for a while. So she'll impersonate him and go to school as him at his boys' school, and he will in turn impersonate her and go to her school at the all-girls school. And so she wants to try to get to know her celebrity crush, and surprisingly enough, her cousin agrees to this arrangement. I'm not sure how many days actually pass in the first installment, but I thought it was very interesting. You do already have that storyline where there are guys that are interested in her, but they don't know that she's a girl, so they're kind of wondering, if they're starting to like guys. They're confused about their feelings. I did find the volume pretty fun, and I do look forward to continuing that one. I also gave that one 4 stars. Then I read volume 26 of Fairy Tail. This one follows our 4 wizards from the Fairy Tail Guild. I do really enjoy the series. I had started the anime first, so as I mentioned before with Noragami, I was skimming through several of the manga volumes already knowing what was going on, so it didn't interest me as much. But now I'm up to a point where I can read the volume and then watch the anime, so I'm enjoying that much more. This one is by Hiro Mashima, and again gave this one 4 stars. Then I read volume 1 of Kagero Days. This one is by Jin. This one follows a guy named Shintaro. He has not left his room for 2 years. He does tinker around on his computer a lot. I believe he composes music on it. On his computer there is like this virus, I guess you'd say, but it's a little like person who talks to him and can pretty much act on her own will. Well, she gets into a fight with him one day, and during that fight the computer basically gets fried, so he has to step outside of his room for the first time in 2 years to get a new computer. While he is at the department store getting his computer, he gets caught up in a hostage situation. This one was a little boring in the beginning, but I did find it more interesting once the hostage situation got underway. We do meet his sister, who apparently is an idol or pop star, and I thought her storyline was much more interesting. I did find the virus character to be quite a bit irritating, but I am interested to see how the hostage situation plays out and how he kind of handles being around so many people after being in his room for so long. This one I gave 3 stars to, and I will be continuing to see how that all plays out. Then I read volume 3 of Yozakura Quartet. This is by Suzuhito Yasuda. This one, I actually read volumes 1 and 2 last year, and so it's been a full year since I read it. I had a hard time getting into this one. I do remember when I initially started the series, I also had a hard time getting into it. I believe it's about a group of teenagers. One of them is the mayor, and she has been the mayor of the town since her grandmother died, and I think it's hereditary, the mayoral position. So she is the mayor and helps keep, control over the town, and it's also one of those towns where you have mortals living amongst supernatural beings. So you do have a mixture of demons, and her job is basically to keep the peace between the mortals and the demons. The first 2 volumes of this, I did remember them being quite choppy, like the storyline didn't flow very well for me. So when I picked up the 3rd volume, it was even worse because I couldn't remember really what happened in the first 2 volumes. But a bit of the way into the 3rd volume, the story arc starts, and I did find that really interesting. We get a little bit of backstory into the mayor's childhood and things like that. So I do actually own volumes 4 and 5. I picked them up at a used bookstore that I found recently, which is unfortunately closing or already closed. But I realized that I should not leave series abandoned for so long and try to get back into it, because then I have a really hard time picking back up. I did end up giving this volume 3 stars, and I'll continue on for another couple volumes to see if it's something that'll really grab me or if I'm gonna let it go. Then I read volumes 1 and 2 of Bride of the Water God by Yoon Mi-kyung. This is a manhwa, which is a Korean comic. This one is about a girl named So-ah. She is from a village who is having a terrible drought, and the villagers believe that if they make a sacrifice to the water god, that the water god will bless them with some rain. And so So-ah is chosen as the one to be the bride of the water god. What this basically means is that they're sending her off into the sea to her death, or at least they think it's a sea, as a sacrifice. So they pretty So-ah up and put her on a boat and send her off, and it's like a rowboat. So she's floating along and she drifts into the realm of the water god, where she thinks she's gonna die, but she's actually accepted as a guest. So they treat her very well. She meets several of the people that live in the palace, and surprise, surprise, the water god is actually a kid. I really enjoyed these 2 volumes. The artwork is stunning. I did quite enjoy the storyline, and I gave both of these volumes 4 stars. And finally, I read volumes 4 through 8 of the manga Red River. This one is by Chie Shinohara. This one follows a girl named Yuri. She gets sucked back to 14 BC Anatolia by an evil sorceress who also happens to be the queen. The queen wants to sacrifice Yuri so that the 2 sons that are ahead of her son in the line of succession get moved out of the way so that her son can actually become king. I am really enjoying this series. In these volumes, I got to meet some Egyptian characters from history, so I really enjoyed that. I have been giving all of the volumes I've read of this manga 4 stars, but I have a feeling that by the end of the series, all of my ratings are probably going to get bumped up to 5. And that does it for all of the manga that I've read lately. Let me know if you've read any of these or if you've watched any anime. I have been on an anime kick also lately. Sports anime mostly, and I think it's because we're having the Olympics this year. I don't normally watch sports. I do really enjoy the Olympics, swimming, beach volleyball, diving, and so all of the animes that I've been watching lately have kind of been those things. We watched Free with Toby Swim Club last year. I just finished watching Haikyuu, which is about a volleyball team. Really, really good. If you haven't seen that one, I do recommend it. I'm currently watching Yowamushi Pedal, which is about a cycling team. And after this one, I have plans to watch Kuroko no Basket, which is about basketball. So, even though I haven't been reading novels lately, manga and anime have been keeping me quite entertained. And so let me know if you've read any of these, or if you're watching any anime series, or if you have a favorite anime series that you think I should watch. Leave me the recommendation down in the comments. I hope you are all doing great, and until next time, take care and smile always. Bye.